Hey everyone, how's it going? So this car's been sitting for a little bit. It's a '07 Mazda 3, a 2.3 liter engine. So it's been sitting for a little while, probably like 5 or 6 months, and it's being passed on to another sibling. So we gotta get these brakes changed. The front calipers are kind of seized up, so we're going to change the front brakes and the calipers and the brake hoses. I'm not doing the rear brakes. I have a video on the rear brakes already, but they were done sooner than the front ones had been done. So I'm gonna see how these go. They don't look too bad. I think this caliper was replaced also. So I'm gonna see how it goes with just the fronts. Like I say, these ones, the rears don't look too bad, but the front ones are kind of sticking, and then there's like a rusted spot, so when you're driving you can hear it kind of grinding through. So like I say, we're gonna swap out these front brakes and hope that's all it needs. So I'm pretty sure these are 13/16. Fits on there pretty well. Alright, so these calipers, the guide pins are 7mm Allen. Pull them off. So he's got a cap in them. Let's come out. One there, one on the other one. So we'll pull those guide pins out, and we gotta get this off. So I'm gonna come in here at my pry bar and go between the rotor fins there and the edge of the caliper here, and I'm gonna pry back on it to collapse the caliper a little bit. So we can slide it off. So, like I say, this one's pretty seasoned up from sitting. There's that. Calipers out. Take the pads off. So we got 2 bolts on the back side here that hold this bracket on. They are 17mm, and I believe they get torqued to about 74. They get 61 to 74 foot-pounds. So here's one, and there's the other ones there too. I'll take this and I'll kind of clean up the little wear surface there. Use a file or something where the pads run. These ones aren't super critical. You're gonna want to get them clean, but they're not as critical as like the Chevys or something, because the pad doesn't sit inside of a groove. It just rests in this track. It's not confined or anything. But anyway, so we're gonna clean this up. Knock this off. That was fun. So I'm gonna clean up this flange here. Try to get most of the rust off everywhere that the rust is protruding, and that way the rotor sits on flat. Otherwise, if there's rust in there, the rotor will start to wobble. So this was stuck on because of rust on the inside of the hat of the rotor, getting caught up on the outside ridge of this. But so I say I'm gonna clean up that face, and then we'll change the brake hose here and the caliper. All right, so this has two clips on it. You got one here that apparently somebody wasn't thinking about when they put the line in, because they got it just zip tied in, which is, I guess, just as good. We got another clip here where the flare nut is. It's 10 millimeter on this. I would probably suggest, if you're replacing the caliper, to consider replacing the hose. Generally I don't, but this hose it's got a swivel and a that's great. So anyway, this hose has a bubble flare that's got a swivel on the caliper, and the way it sits, it's probably going to rust on. So you're running a pretty good chance of it not coming off very well. So it's something to think about. I think the hose, actually I don't remember what the hose was, how much it cost. I think the calipers, I ended up finding them at AutoZone. I couldn't find them anywhere else, which is weird. AutoZone's starting to surprise me. I used to go there all the time because there's one not too far away, and then they stopped carrying pretty much everything. So I stopped going there because I couldn't get any parts from them without ordering it. So I started going to Advance because they had parts. And now I'm finding Advance isn't carrying much of the stuff they used to carry. So with the shortage of everything lately, I've been kind of going to, I mean, I get what I can from Advance, because when you kind of stick with a place, you get, like, I think Advance does perks and stuff if you buy from them, and we use them at work, so sometimes it's just easier to go through them. But You know, you gotta go where you can get the parts. So I've been finding lately Advance hasn't really had what I'm needing. So I find a lot of the things that Advance can't get, I've been finding that Napa has been able to get. So I've been going to them for some stuff. And like I say, I'd pretty much stopped going to AutoZone totally because they never had anything. And now lately they've been having the parts I've been needing. So like they had these calipers in stock. It wasn't like a loaded with a bracket, but it was a caliper. So at least I could get the caliper changed. So I was kind of surprised by that. I say this has a swivel on it. This goes into your caliper, and like I say, it sits up like that, so you got a pretty good chance that that's going to be seized. So I'm going to put I'll put the rotor on and then the bracket on so I can have a place to put the caliper. So we'll do that. Got some brake clean here. Somebody gave me a bit of a criticism because I didn't use it on the previous video. But I used it this time, don't you worry. Is that? Let's put the bracket on. I want to put some Loctite, find some blue Loctite or something on these bolts. Let's say this goes to 61 to 74 foot-pounds, I believe. I might want to verify that. Like I said, these pads aren't captured in there. They just kind of rest in there. So I don't think it's a huge deal to get it super clean, but I guess the cleaner the better. I'm working on a sandblasting thing in my basement, or blast cabinet, that I can just kind of clean these up in there real fast and not have to file them. All right. Slip that in. I mean, so here's your guide pins. Put this on. What you can see, we can move you in a bit. Ah, my finger's stuck in there. Yeah, So there's our hose. Let's grab the hose. All right, here it is. So let's get started in the caliper. There's a flat spot that matches up with a flat spot on the bracket. We'll put our little clip in. Probably about, I don't know, maybe like 7 years ago or something like that, I needed to get some of these clips, and they were out pretty much everywhere, and I had to order some. So I ordered a pack of 25. I still have them. They usually come with the hoses, but for some reason at that point in time I didn't have one. Like I said, I ordered a pack of 25. It was cheaper for me to order 25 than it was for me to order a pack of 5 or 2 or something like that. Guy couldn't really explain it, but it was kind of weird. So I still got a whole bunch of them. There's a little protruding section there, a little point on both sides that line up inside this bracket as well. We'll take our other clip. Oh, these hoses did not come with these clips, by the way. So let's get this hose line started. Is that so there we go with that. Pull this hose over. That's not hose, but loosen up the bleeder. Let's say it's like 11 millimeter on this nut here, which isn't what it was for the one that was originally on there. I think that one was like a 12 or something. There's that. Oops. Put our caps in here. We'll top it off with brake fluid and we'll bleed it. This side ought to bleed a little bit easier. It's pretty much gravity bleeding pretty well. The other side didn't. It was dripping, but it wasn't dripping out very fast. So see how it goes. Oh, so these are the brake pads I got. These are the rotors that I got. This is the passenger side caliper. That is the driver's side caliper. That is the hose. Both sides are the same. And that is the clips. I believe if you drop off the A, you get the 25 pack. Alright, push down. Let up. 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 Pump it up. Alright, push down. Let up. Push down. Let up. Push down. Let up. This should be good. Good. So, I guess you can bleed your vehicle a couple of different ways. That's kind of the way I like doing it. I try not to pump it and pump it and pump it too much because you can break up any air bubbles into small air bubbles and it makes it harder to get out. So that's why I kind of like to open the bleeder before you push it down, and it kind of pushes it out without really getting too crazy. And then we'll pump it up so it pushes the caliper piston up against the pads to take up the slack, and then I'll kind of bleed it again a little bit. I didn't get very much air out of there, but I did gravity bleed it a bit too, and it was gravity bleeding pretty good. I like it on number 3 way better. That bolt mode, I don't care for. Alright, let's torque these. Okay, one more. So I torque these two 90 foot-pounds. That's what I torque them to. I think there's a range. I think 90 is the top or the max. I always like to press on the brake and come out here and make sure they release, just so I know I ain't gonna have any problems going down the road. So that should be that, unless you run into some other issues. But I say you might want to make sure you have all those brake hoses just in case, and also make sure when you're taking the ferrule nut off that it's not twisting the brake line, because then you're gonna have some other problems there too. If it breaks it, or if it breaks off, or if it doesn't spin on the tube when you're taking it out of the hose. So anyway, that's that. So hope that can help somebody. Thanks for watching.